Hi everyone, it's B.Chavez from EvilGenius Sports Performance. I'd like to welcome you to another EvilGSP video blog. And today I would like to talk to you about the fact that you should keep a training journal. And not just a training journal, but maybe even a journal of your day, of your general health. Before I begin this video, I actually want to backtrack and say that when I set out to make a video blog series, this was actually my very first idea. It's like, that's the very first video I need to make. I'm a huge journal fan. I'm a huge journaler. I keep a journal. I break it out all the time, use the data to a high degree. So it's the first video I need to make. It should be no problem for me to do. I'll knock that right out and tell everybody the wonders of a journal. The reality is this video was a lot harder to bring to market than I thought. All of the scenarios I thought, well, I'll scan my journal and I'll show it to people, and I'll do this and I'll do this. I'll make some templates. I'll do all these different things. And the reality is, the way I feel about a journal and the way I feel that you, an athlete other than me, should use a journal makes showing mine a little unrelevant. Really not the way to do this. So I've actually cut a whole bunch of other videos, still kicking this one around in the back of my mind. And I said, damn it, it's time that I make the video, even if it's just a tip of the iceberg kind of introductory video, which I'm afraid this is probably going to be. So the topic of today's video is the fact that you need to keep data. You need to keep records, and really the sensible format for that is a journal. But what I'm going to do in this video is just kind of talk to you about what information I keep and what I do with it, and a couple of clients that I have, what information I've coached them to keep and what we do with it. Not so much the specific styles and formats, but the actual material. And the reason for that is the actual format can vary wildly. Some people are just very analog individuals. They like pencil and paper and they write things down. Other people, actually, I even have it, it's kind of jumping ahead in this series, but I actually have a person who just turns his cell phone on and talks to it and makes little 2-3 minute videos about his workout and state of the day and files them away. Not a really practical application for everybody, but it's how this person works. But anyway, the moral of the story is I've kept a journal since early on. Granted, I did start as a bodybuilder, and probably your minute, nutritional and training details probably affect your finished product more than maybe a strength athlete. Not to say that it's not necessary for a strength athlete, because it absolutely is, but just pointing out that I did start as a bodybuilder, and I did get a lot of my attitudes and ideas from both Tommy Platz and Fred Hatfield, who were data files to the highest degree. Tom literally never went anywhere without his journal, and he would just literally in a parked car, just at a traffic light, scratch something down about his day. And so there was a very, very high level of data collection, and then the key to all of this is, in fact, data review. It's not just having this information, but it's the ability to have this information in a way that you would then go back and look at it and it makes some sort of sense to you. Okay, so the first thing I want to have you consider and want to put before you is the kinds of information that might be useful. And this is a very truncated list. The amount of things that could be useful is enormous because each of you is different. Your goals, your position, your style of everything. Granted, science is hard and fast and we're all the same, but we're all doing something different. We're doing it with different perspectives, different ideas, and therefore each of us has a different flavor and flair, even though the sciences of what makes muscles grow and what makes your squat big is really the same. The kind of the nuts and bolts underneath might differ for each person. So things that would be relevant, of course, is certainly your workout, what you did, sets, reps, little things that maybe people don't tend to record, like the time of day you trained, where you trained, who you trained with. Those can matter. You might be able to record those items and find down the road after 6 months of recording your journal, well, I have particularly good workouts when I go there, or when I go there, or when I train with this person, or when I train earlier in the day or later in the day, or that sort of thing can be tracked very easily. So those are sorts of, just obviously sets and reps, pretty simple, pretty obvious. PRs, again, pretty obvious, but worth tracking. It's interesting to plot your rough PRs maybe against time and maybe your body weight. and you can find it, oh, as I get heavier, my squat definitely gets better, but my bench doesn't. You can find a lot of interesting things just from that simple bit of information, which every one of you should record. Just outside of your training journal, which is a lot of times a separate entity, I happen to treat it not as a separate entity, but many people do. I'm one of the people that tries to keep everything all encompassed. Simply, how many hours a night you sleep, what time you got up, it matters. You may find that, after certain work shifts, you sleep more, you sleep less. After certain, even after eating certain things, you sleep more, you sleep less. Different, people in your life, different scenarios, those things can matter. You can then begin to modulate those things to adjust your training or adjust your training around those things, depending on, how flexible they are. Other things that you might want to track is your general well-being. You wake up, how do you feel? Did it take you 20 minutes to get out of bed, or did you pop out of bed? Just little things like that can matter. Not per day, not per workout. Oh, I felt like shit this morning and then I did this. No, but 20 times, 30 times, 130 times, you can begin to see patterns that maybe otherwise weren't there or weren't obvious to you. They were always there. So, your kind of well-being, that sort of thing. Obviously, I would want you to track your body weight, your body fat, maybe even as simple as snapping a picture, just tracking kind of how you look. That could matter, especially if you're a bodybuilder, but even, just a powerlifter or strength athlete, or even just casual athlete. It's nice to know who you are and how you look and actually have a real reference. So you can take that picture and go, oh, I was bench pressing this much at that time. I weighed this much at that time. And make changes and adjustments to your training or changes to your expectations. A lot of things can change as you move along. Also things that I personally track is, of course, diet, what I eat, when I eat it, who I eat it with, even where I eat, whether it was a meal that I ate at home or whether I ate out. I don't keep to the detail of that sort of thing that I did during my competitive career, but literally during my competitive career, I kept essentially a day plan. Every day I woke up with a blank day plan and I filled in each and everything. 2 p.m. did this, 3 p.m. took nap, 4 p.m. ate a turkey. Just did that sort of thing. Again, probably overkill for most of you, but keeping data is the secret to being able to have data to make rational decisions. So training journal, very, very valuable. Data in general is what makes science work. So I can't emphasize that enough. You need data. Now, I could just go on and on about this forever, but again, as kind of an overview introductory video to journals, also the style, the media of journal. Just as an example, I mentioned that I have a friend who just kind of turns his phone on himself and talks to it. He says, 20-minute workout, did bench presses, whatever, and files it away. I remember in the late 80s, Robbie Robinson actually had a little micro recorder, kind of a little James Bond thing, and he would literally do the same thing, but just after each exercise, he would pull it out of his gym bag and just say what he did. Kind of a novel approach. I don't know how practical that is, but again, every person's different. Every person's style of keeping media. One of my trainees has a really useful method. He buys these expensive, little kind of yuppie, I believe they're Moleskine brand notebooks. Personally, I wouldn't spend $20 on a little cardboard notebook, but he loves them, and so be it. And he writes everything down by hand, keeps an awful lot of data, and then what he does actually is, with a little iPhone app, he will snap a pic at the end of the week or a month, he will snap a picture of each page and roll it over into a PDF file. So now he has a digitized version of this analog media. So there's a lot of ways that you can collect this data. Some people keep a separate journal, maybe right beside their bed, just like a little post-it note, what time they got up, that sort of thing. And then they keep a training journal, and then they keep maybe a nutritional journal. Personally, I don't like to fish through so many different ponds to find my data. I like it all encompassed. But again, that works too. Everyone, as I said, everyone has a different thought process and a different way of dealing with this. But and then bringing that to kind of toward a close is thoughts on what to do with this data. Huge believer in spreadsheets. I love spreadsheets. If you're not in the business world and you don't do or use spreadsheets, you maybe don't know just how powerful a tool that is. But imagine you make a little spreadsheet and you put something like, date, body weight, and squat, bench press, clean overhead, whatever sort of exercises you track. And then you go through your training journal and you plot, on this day I did this, and on this day I did that, and on this day I did the other thing. And next thing you know, these trend lines start to develop, and you can see, oh my God, I was particularly strong in June. I fell off a little bit in August. And then you can begin to get a handle on, well, why is that? Did my body weight change? Did my training location change? Did my my wife or girlfriend get particularly weird, or was I an asshole? And you could find things hiding in the data that you really never expected. So all of these different things, something to begin to think about if you don't keep a journal. Data is valuable. Data is the coin of good decisions, always. Okay, so data, hugely important. You need to find what data is relevant to you. You need to find what medium to keep and record that data. And then you need to find a method of collating that data into an understandable format. So a really broad and almost senseless overview on the concept of journaling. I hope to then in the future bring you more specific examples of just what it can be, what it can do, and how it can help you. But there's kind of a big overview on the idea of the fact that data is important, how you keep it is important to you, and then how you translate it into usable information is absolutely vital to you. So journaling, a huge deal, very big part of the Evil Genius sports performance modality and method. If I have a method, I try to think in terms of pure science. I don't think that methods are mine per se. I use the method of science, and science is predicated on rational thought, rational data, and hopefully the rational interpretation of that data. So there you have it. You need a journal. Together, perhaps we can help you develop a good working journal to help you make better decisions, to make you bigger and stronger. So, until next time, B.Chavez, Evil Genius Sports Performance. Stay strong.